Welcome to today's installment of the My Story series here on my channel. My name is Sally, and this is Trinity Gaia Consciousness. I have a doozy for you guys today, and I feel that it's worth giving you guys the heavy, caution, the serious, I am going to tell you right now that I am going to use words. Like you are the 21, 22-year-old me right now, okay? With what I'm about to share with you, I wouldn't change a thing, okay? I would still, I would still respect the advice. I would still take, I would still do all the treatment. I wouldn't change a thing because it would mean I wouldn't be me right here, right now, living this moment. And I would not trade this moment for anything because in this moment, I'm free. This moment, I am me. I'm not me and toxic, you know, destiny swap psycho person in tow. No, I am just me. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is so amazing to say. And now I'm going to anchor this in as to why this caution is here and saying, I really want you to hear me. Every single thing that happened from that day I received that news, that diagnosis, I did the right thing because it led me here. Okay, so with that buildup, I am approaching 40. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old, but this gives you an idea that I've been living with this label for 15 years or so. I'm aware that this has been a part of my life since I was a child, since I was an infant, since I was born. They knew about my energy and that moment, and they preyed on me. And I know I'm not the only person that identifies with this. So, this message is that you can be free. But the only way to be free is to become free responsibly, cautiously, and with self-love. I would not change a thing. Part of it is because the medical field, the knowledge, the research, it's very different now than it was 15 years ago. It's even more different than it was 30 years ago. If I knew then what I know now, kind of a thing. But I didn't, and they didn't, and I don't hold any ill will towards anybody that was helping me in this process because they were doing the best they could with the information they had. So I was diagnosed with bipolar mixed presentation. Now, my understanding is that that's a life sentence. Now, spiritually, I happen to now know this as, at least for me, in my instance, it was a spiritual, it was artificial, it was a psychic attack. It was an attempt at a destiny swap. I have a lot of life left to live. They didn't get all of my life, and I'm able to be here right now telling you guys it's possible, okay? It's possible that it's not a life sentence. But I took every precaution. I listened to every single medical professional, and I weighed the logic with them, and we always came to an agreement before anything was proceeded with. I would not change a thing. Okay? At this point, been about a month or two, maybe a bit more, where it has officially been changed because I have not been on medication for it. And I did this with the gal that I've been working with for years. She has observed me go through some really rough times. And I mean that in that I also cope with chronic pain. So dealing with a mood disorder while coping with chronic pain, that's a tough spot. Because I needed surgeries. So I was always in a lot of pain. Always. Incredible amount of pain. Everything was difficult. And she helped me through that. She was very wise in how she medicated. It was never too much of one thing or another. It was like, we're going to give you the least amount that we can of everything, which I wanted. We're not going to overdo on one and then have to take you off of everything. That was something that could not happen. So she has been with me through a lot. And she's like, if you want to try knocking down the amount from here to here. And it was fine. It was a little interesting for a few weeks. And then I adjusted, which means that even from just a neurological perspective, that makes sense. Because I was not dealing with a neurosuppressant for that long. When this was explained to me, it blew my mind. Of course, I would be aware of more things going on because my body wasn't having that neurosuppressant to achieve normalization. It was able to find a new normalization without being suppressed anymore. Until finally, I was like, you know what? I put it off for another 2 months last time, and I'm still here. I'm still questioning. I'm going to try it. And she was there with me. And I have not been on medication for about 6 months or so. And it is now officially part of my medical file that those diagnoses are questionable because being bipolar is a life sentence, is my understanding, and it's hers as well. And that tells me, because of these 5 years of working on this process, and you guys know from watching my channel that, there's been a lot of things that have been coming to light. I've been channeling a lot of energy for a lot of people and helping to alchemize and transmute and gain insight and, just really doing what I can to be of service because I'm capable of that. And I want to help. So, yeah, this tells me that this individual or these individuals who were living the good life off of good deeds they didn't do, works that they did not actually understand, let alone comprehend, let alone actually achieve. They didn't do the work, but they were living like they had. And they were giving me all of their ick. That has not been a thing for about 6 months or so. The moment it became official, it was like a contractual cutting because it's official. It's a part of the medical file, meaning it's like legitimate. So this has been my journey to this point, and it began with working with the subconscious thoughts and speaking over them and clearing them, and then getting to that point where I'm like, I'm very familiar with myself. And then it became going, that's not my thought. That's someone else's. And observing the rare few instances where I knew someone else heard their thought as though it was mine. Yeah. Yeah. So just validation that this is not me. And to think that people have been feeling this thing's energy, because this isn't, it's kind of like, my mom once said this about, one of my female friends, her ex was like a narcissistic, abusive individual. He just couldn't help it, right? He, would hurt her and then guilt trip her into feeling bad for him because he hurt her like he couldn't stop himself from hurting her. He totally could, but he chose not to. Now, there could be some level of a spiritual thing to that, but dude, you're hurting people. That's not excusable. It's not okay. So he would be feeding off of hurting her and then feeding off of the sympathy because he hurt her. Like, what? Ugh. So talking about it with my mom, she's like, he doesn't deserve to be named. He doesn't get to have a name. He's just that guy. He's not, we're not going to give him his name even though we know it. He's not worthy of having that extra detail in our lives anymore. So that's kind of the way I relate to this. This is like, it's a thing. It's not a person. It's not a gender. It's a thing. And you could think that that somehow makes it more powerful, but in reality, it depersonalizes it. Because I'm not giving to it. What I'm doing right now is telling you guys that if you do the work, you go to therapy, you find the things that work for you. For me, it was working with my subconscious mind. And there are tools to help you work with that are free, that are legitimate, that are based in science. They will do a walkthrough of the science and then they'll teach you how to like meditate. They'll teach you. And like one of the presenters, he starts with like, my mind would go a million miles a minute. So they would tell me to meditate was the answer. And I'd be like, yeah, right. Like I'm going to be able to achieve that. But it took him years. And he kept trying and he kept trying and he kept trying. And eventually he was able to sit in meditation for longer and longer and longer and be able to catch those subtler notes because he was exercising his mind like you would exercise your body when you go to the gym. Sometimes you're just not a good swimmer or you're not a good dancer, but he kept at that swimming and at that dancing until he started to actually nail the routine and do the laps. It was a way of life for him. He made it a way of life. It wasn't like this chore he had to do. So wherever you may be and how your neurology and your mind works, like there are so many ways to work with this part of yourself and become familiar with it. So I am very passionate about this because this has brought me to this point. I am free. All those doors that were closed, they're not closed anymore. All those dreams that, my understanding when I was 21, 22, the likelihood of you being in a healthy relationship that would last, practically nil. The likelihood that after having a child, you would end up with postpartum depression, practically 100%. There were whole fields that I could never work in with that diagnosis. There was a whole thing that came with it. It was done. That's no longer a thing for me, guys. So if you do the work and you become familiar and you do the work, it sounds like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to be slaving away. Like, no, it's like, it becomes a part of just your hygiene. It just becomes a part of you. The more you incorporate it, it becomes your norm, where you're like just a little more aware of your thoughts, and you're like, hey, like that thought does not make me feel good. I am not down with that thought. And you downvote it, and your brain is a tool. It will go, okay, this one is not desired to have anymore. And it'll eventually no longer be something that you think. That's amazing that you can literally like program your own mind. That is the first step. It's the next step that it's just, oh, it was a doozy, guys. Getting through it. It was a real mind screw. And I didn't get through it alone. I had a lot of help, and I'm grateful to every single individual, whether they know they helped me or not. I am incredibly grateful. But some of these individuals, they can't be a part of my journey anymore because they're going on their own. We're not meant to continue to be in tandem because we have other things we're meant to do. We have other strengths. We have other things that we're meant to do. So to every single person that helped, because I'm aware of the global consciousness, and I know there's people that don't even know they helped me. They have no idea. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for doing the work you did on you. Just wow, guys. So, so grateful to be able to sit here right now and tell you guys it's possible because I've done it. I've lived it. I've experienced it. And I didn't do it alone. There's just so much more I want to say, guys. And I'll have to put more into another installment. But right now, this one needs to sit here. So just thank you guys so much. Every single one of you. Thank you. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. If you have questions, TrinityGaiaConsciousness@gmail.com. That's my email. It's down below in the details. I will answer your questions and I will keep you anonymous in answering the question. Okay? I'm not going to put a spotlight on you if you have a question. I do want to know what you're curious about. I do want to know what you want to know about, and I will do my best to answer it. And I'm going to tell you, I don't have all the answers. I'm not a professional. Talk to a professional. Oh, definitely. Like I said, I would not change a thing, not a single thing, because it would change where I am now. And I hesitated because that's how serious I am about my own health. I knew it was serious and I needed the answer. So I found out, and I am so ecstatic that in taking that chance, I found freedom instead of I need to go back on it. But if that's what I needed to do for my life to be better, I would do that. I wouldn't hesitate. I'd be sad, but I'd get over it because I would know my life would be better for being on medication. But that was not my experience. And that was not just my opinion. That was the medical and mental health team around me's opinion too. So it's a team thing, guys. If you're considering anything like this, at any point, you're going to want to do it with a team around you supporting you. Because you're going to want to walk away from it knowing that you're actually free. You're not going to want to question. You're going to want to know. And that's a loving thing to give yourself. So I feel like I want to just give everybody who is hearing this and it's resonating for you just like a hug or something, like a fist bump, or I don't know, just there's just so much gratitude and love in me right now that I'm feeling, and I just want to just thank you. Thank you for being you and doing the work you do on you, because whether you realize it or not, you make waves and ripples even if you never encounter another person in the physical that you've helped. Global consciousness, you've helped a lot. So keep doing that. Keep doing you. And yeah, if you have questions, definitely email me. If you're kind, considerate, and respectful, I have no problem answering your questions. And I'll keep you anonymous. So, yeah, freedom. Okay, the divine, the love within me sees and honors the divine, the love within you. Namaste.